What's good? You're in the den. You're in the den live. You're in the den with Aaron EBM. No preparation for tonight's video. I just wanted to get on and mess around with the poor man's version of StreamYard. You see the one with the green mallet or mallard in the corner. So we gonna do this thing. We just gonna shoot from the hip. See where we get tonight. What's good, everybody? It is Aaron EBM. Man, I just wanted to get in here and play around with this StreamYard software, see how user friendly it is. I heard a lot about it. So I just decided to get on here and do it, there's no time like the present. So I just wanted to get on here and do my thing. Man, there's been a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if you've been around or you mess around with this side of YouTube, but man, I'm telling you, there's some good stuff going on between Kevin Samuels and Obsidian. Shout out to Obsidian, man. It's been a lot of stuff going on. Man, man, it's late, man. Got kids is still up, wife is still up waiting on some Wingstop, and I'm just in here playing around, man. Oh, let's get this thing started. Man, I just want to start with Obsidian, man. If you're not a fan of Obsidian, man, Mamiya Obsidian Ali, I would highly suggest you go over to his channel and subscribe to the old man. He is spitting some fire, and you are, man, you won't help but to enjoy some of his content, especially if you're a man, and if you're a lady, you can go ahead and get into that. So what really struck me when listening to Obsidian talk the other day, or was it last night, was about us men. If you're a man and in this space, it is very easy to get focused in on what women are doing and getting into this woe is me mentality, and it can almost be detrimental, and a lot of it is due to the fear of wanting to actually improve on yourself, and he said, if you're whining and if you're complaining, what is the point of you even being in the space, like he referenced Lean on Me, with Morgan Freeman, Uncle Joe, how he told the young man to jump off the building, if he was doing crack and all this other stuff, and he's like, just why don't you end it? You up here wasting your life and wasting your talent. Why don't you just jump off the building? And that's what you see a lot in the space, man. You see a lot of men in the position to where you're like, why are you here? It's one thing to complain, and it's one thing to air your grievance, and that's okay. It's okay to air your grievance. We all need a place to vent. But what next? And I asked this question. That's the question I'm going into 2022 with, is what next? After we complain, after we get done arguing with these ladies, and you see how far that gets you arguing with these ladies, because I'm telling you, that girl code or that woman code, whatever you want to call it, is strong. And if they're not wanting to actually listen, if they're not wanting to actually change, you're running into a brick wall. It's like, what's the point? What's the point of arguing with these women for? And especially if you're not on your game, if you're not living in your purpose, if you're not at the point you want to be at, how can you even sit there and argue with a lot of these ladies on what they're doing? It's almost a waste of time. So that brings me to say, a lot of the times us men project, sometimes, not all of the time, out of fear. It's easy to point the finger, and like I say, we sometimes, especially a lot of these ladies, need the finger pointed at them, but it's easy to point the finger at them and then not look at what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the reason it is so easy for us to point the finger at a lot of these ladies is because sometimes we're afraid of the change. That's almost like that the victim mentality thing you hear, or that victim Olympics thing. It's we're not all in it, and it's valid. It's valid to say that us men, or not us men, and us as a people have been through things, and it manifests in our lives in different ways. So we can't deny that that stuff happens and it affects us. But where do we go from here? Do we continue to stay and be a victim, or do we evolve and we change and then we grow? See, it's easier to stay, in that, woe is me, and you can put it into any context. Even with women, it's easy to say, well, these women ain't doing this, or these women ain't ish. But what are we doing to excel? What are we doing to propel ourselves into the next position, to where the women have no choice but to come to us? To come to us and say, look, we apologize, you doing everything you're supposed to be doing, and it's time for us to work, because honestly, it's nothing we can do to make these women do anything. All we can do is say our piece and keep going. So what is the next point of us to do? What is the next thing for us to do? Are we going to continue to stay? Are we going to continue to wallow in the woe is me or the victim mentality? Or are we going to step up and do what we need to do as men? I vote for doing what we need to do. I vote for, you know, living on our purpose, living in abundance, and not caring about, especially not caring what people say about us, and just stepping out on a limb and getting out of your comfort zone. That's the big thing. Getting out of your comfort zone and doing what you need to do, or taking risks. And then in those risks, learning as much as you can while you're taking those risks, to take as less bumps along the way. That is the only way you can grow. That is the only way you're going to see something different. That is the only way you're going to see change. Now, me, for me, these are the things that we need to focus on going into 2022. And I know it's difficult, especially with dealing with a lot of these different ladies out here, and a lot of these different issues and problems we have. But we got to do it. There's like Obsidian said tonight, there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money out there. There's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of different things that men can get and men can do, but we're just not taking the risk. And sometimes you have to take those risks. It wasn't easy for myself to take out 2 grand to start up this YouTube thing. And a lot of people tell you, well, you don't need XYZ to start these YouTube channels, and you really don't need a lot of this different stuff to start up these YouTube channels. But if you want to be somewhat crisp, if you want to be somewhat clean, if you want to be somewhat professional, you're going to have to put up some money. You're going to have to take some risk, and you're going to have to pour into yourself for you to be able to do this thing. So, like I said, it wasn't easy for me to put up 2 grand, for my equipment, for the hardware that I'm using. But you know what? It needed to be done, and I can definitely tell the quality in the way I started into where I am now, and it just gets better and better with time. And you're not going to get better unless you get out of out of your comfort zone, unless you start to take risk, unless you know your weaknesses that you have, and for you to be able to confront them, to do better and to be able to grow. I mean, it's a lot of stuff out here, man, in this manosphere streets, and it's a lot of talented brothers out here. But I feel like, it's a lot of us that have so many conflicting ideals about things, and we those things get in our way. Those things are like roadblocks. Okay, you have brothers on one side that are, more liberal, and you have other brothers on the other side that are more conservative, and then we butt heads, and we don't want to listen to each other, or we want to just shut each other out because our differences conflict. And that's what the problem is, and that's what the main problem is. Yes, like I said, we can't get stuck in victim blaming, and we can't get stuck in the woe is me's, but you have to realize that, and I hear we talk about a lot of different, communities, and like, like the Jewish communities not having problems. Jewish communities have problems. Jewish communities have communities have different sects that don't always get along. They have different groups of them that don't always get along, but they're always down for one another, and at the end they always down for who they are and for their cause. They're not going to let somebody from outside of their community come in and wreck their community and get away with it. And that's what I'm trying to tell brothers now. Look, we got conservative brothers over here that sometimes it's hard to get along with different people, you know. And I'm a realist. I'm not a person that leans real hard left, and I'm not a person that leans real hard right. I'm a realist, and I realize that it's a lot of bad things on both sides. I kind of take the stance of Killer Mike and David Banner. We got to do for self, and I consider myself the Green Ranger of this side of YouTube. If y'all, I'm in my 30s, and if you're in your 30s, you remember the Power Rangers, how the Power Rangers would come out kicking everybody's ass, and then all of a sudden somebody come along and whoop their ass, and then you get the Green Ranger to come and don't like them, and he whoop their ass too. But at the end, he's one of them. He'll help you whoop their ass, but he don't really like you, and that's what I'm saying. You don't gotta like each other, but you can protect each other from outside sources. You can protect each other from people getting railroaded out here, and know that we all collectively have something to gain. No matter what side you're on, we have something to gain. And if you don't realize that we have something to gain, we will together we will forever be fighting each other. We will forever be at each other's necks, and really won't be able to grow in the way that we need to grow. There's no way we can be separate and grow like we want to grow. Yes, we can be separate, and one of us excels, two of us excel, but as a whole, like we can do with all the talent that we have out here, it will not happen unless we band together. It will not happen unless we get out of that, that ego tripping, or that egocentric attitudes that we can have sometime, and I put that difference to the side and say, look, man, I know you got this talent over here. I know you have this ability to do XYZ. I have the ability to the other ABC. We get together and make something wonderful happen. And that's what I'm preaching, man. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get people to realize, yeah, we got a lot of things in common. We have a lot of things that separate us and make us different, but that doesn't have to come in between us making this money, getting to this bag, making something great out of this space, and even growing bigger than what it is right now. I know a lot of people just see it small, like, oh, I'm just a YouTuber, and I'm just doing this thing right here. I'm not as big as Kevin Samuels, and I'm not as big as O'Shea. Shout out to both of them. But there's something in you. You're not made to be Kevin Samuels. You're not made to be O'Shea. They are themselves, and they do what they do at the highest level. you know, and you can too. You be yourself. You do the things that you can do to really gain the momentum, and be the next big thing. You're not going to be there, and you're not going to do the things that you want to do without taking those risks, man. And you can't get caught up in those petty differences. It will forever hold you back. It will forever be a hindrance to you, and we just don't need hindrances right now with everything that's going on with all the turmoil, man. If you know anything like I know, I'm in MPNL, material planning and logistics. That's my skill set right now. I used to be in supplier quality engineering, and I moved on to MPNL. And when you deal with suppliers and vendors from all over the world, and you're seeing all of these port issues that they're having right now, just think about if you are a black truck owner, a black logistics owner, and you had two or three people with you in the trucking company, and you were making bank, because really people can't get stuff moved from one place to another in this country right now. It's hard because they don't have the drivers. They don't have the people that are wanting to work. That's what they're saying. People not wanting to work. Everything's backed up. And think about if you were like I said, a black owned truck driver, a black owned truck driving company. logistics company, and right now you could be making your own ticket. You could be making buku money right now, and there will be nobody to stop you from getting that money. And it's out there. But people don't want to take the risk. People think like, "Ah, who am I? I can't do this. I can't make this money. I can't get out here and do this like the big companies doing, like JB Hunt." You don't got to be JB Hunt. You can be Tyrone's whatever trucking company. Build it up. This is a perfect time. Corona came, the virus came and swept through the nation, and you seen all of these people taking advantage of being at home, starting up these YouTube channels, making these businesses at home, and capitalizing from it. I seen the most innovation come out of this hard time, and we're headed for another one right now. People just don't really understand how bad this logistics thing is going to hit the country again. It's coming, and it's coming, and it's a good thing to be ahead of it, and especially if you're already in these businesses or you making these connections, because you can take over, you can make the money. You just can't be lazy, and you can't be in the mindset of, I want to just work 8 hours and I want to sit down. No, you're going to have some sleepless nights. You're going to have time away from your friends and family, your loved ones. You're not going to be able to do the things that you really want to do at the moment, but I'm telling you, the sacrifice will pay off for you in the long run. It's crazy, but it's crazy, but it's out there. I've seen it. I've got a chance to go to Mexico, to go to these different countries and see what these people are doing, and see how they're grinding. And it's an eye opener when you get out of your bubble. And really, I'm one of those people that is not easily moved out of their comfort zone. And I'm there with you guys. I'm there with the brothers. They're like, man, I don't want to do it. I'm so used to not taking risk. And I believe that is a part of us going through so much in this country, that when we get a hold of something that is comfortable, we get a hold of a little job that's paying us a good wage and we're making money steadily, we don't want to take the risk. And sometimes we can't take the risk. We don't have that extra capital to throw away, but sometimes you can. What's stopping you from putting in 100 $200 in the stock market? Even if you're not savvy in stocks, you can put that $200 in. I did it during COVID. I put 60 in E-Trade, and built me a small portfolio, and actually watched it jump from like 60 to like $300 within the span of a few months now. Imagine if you put in 1,000. Imagine if you put in 10 grand, got with somebody that actually knew how to broker and move this money around in the way it needs to be moved. Now think about that, and thinking about if you had a black broker friend to where that was close to you, that you could really trust and move this for you, or move this stuff around for you, and you can make money, and you're helping him, and he's making, or she's making, the commission, and y'all both coming up together. This is the kind of things that I'm talking about in the space. And I'm not trying to get away from the popular topic, because I know these women out here need to be talked about. I know these hyenas need to be talked about out here, because sometimes you can't even really call them women. They just straight up hyenas, and you have to talk about them. You can't let them get away with what they doing. I know, in some aspects, you need to say that you got to bring shame back almost with some of these ladies, man, because it's like they just doing whatever out here. But for the fellas, man, I'm telling you, I'm all for us. I'm all for the people, and I'm all for us doing something different, man. I'm all for us having each other's back. And that's why I crown myself the Green Ranger of the manosphere. Because hey, I don't gotta like all y'all, but I'd be damned if I let somebody come in here and hurt one of y'all, or try to down one of y'all, or kick y'all off the mantle for no reason. That ain't happening. We can agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree. We don't have to agree, but we got to take care of each other, man. And I don't know how many times to say that. I might have to say this for the rest of my life. I might have to say that for the rest of my life, that we have to take up for one another. We have to continue to fight. continue to uplift each other, continue to have these hard discussions, because a lot of us don't even really know how to have good discussions in the community without trying to fight, without trying to put each other down, without trying to show each other up. We don't know how to communicate. And we got to learn. We got to know how to communicate. We got to learn how to communicate. That's half the problem in this, right, in this space, or not in a space of in our community. As a whole. And if you think about it, even in the broader aspect of like America, we don't know how to communicate, and it's a part of it is the information age. You got all these social media outlets to kind of make you closer, but in the end, it's doing nothing but like tearing you apart. It's doing nothing but making you antisocial. You think you're getting social from getting social media, but it's making you more and more antisocial. And that's something we really don't need. We really don't need to be antisocial. We ain't got the time to be antisocial, because I'm trying to break down walls and be more social. Because this ain't even my thing being on here live, but you see me doing it now because I'm trying to break out. I'm trying to break out of the shell. I'm trying to make connections and get out there, because there's no way you're going to be able to make those connections without stepping up. And you might be the person that's got to go out of your way to say, hey, my name's Aaron. I do this. Let's connect. What ideas do you have? Because I'm in a slump. I'm trying to think of something new. I'm trying to transcend, but I just need a little bit of help. And you never know, those two people get together, sparks happen, and then you have a metamorphosis and you break down walls that you didn't even know that you can break down. And it's crazy out here. It is a lot. It's a lot, but we can do it. I believe we can do it, but we can't be pessimistic. We can't be lazy. You know what I'm saying? I can't. I can say that. I can say about us about us sometimes. Sometimes we just get lazy. We get set in our ways and don't want to move, and don't want to put ourselves in positions that make us uncomfortable. But man, hey, that's when you grow, when you're uncomfortable. That's when you reach places and you reach heights that you never thought you could reach before, is when you're uncomfortable. How many people have actually grown in a state of comfortability? A reptile can't grow they without getting uncomfortable. They shed, they get uncomfortable, and they grow, and they shed their skin in order to grow. And that's what we got to do. We got to get uncomfortable in these spaces. We got to do things that we didn't want to do, and that might mean moving away from some of these same old topics. You know what I'm saying? I seen Race talked about span about 15 good times in the last week. It's got to the point where I jumped on several different people's comment sections, and I salute to all of them. But what when are we going to stop talking about race? You know what I'm saying? When are we going to move past? And I'm not trying to say move past our plight or our history, because I am very big on history. That's one of the things that I do on the background, is specializing in Black history, and we have a few courses for kids on Black history, because that information needs to be passed on. But when do we say, hey, this is us? Let's draw strength from it, because we seen our people go through. We seen what our people can do in adversity, what they can build, what they can take from nothing. You know what I'm saying? What they can take from nothing and build. We seen it happen. So why do we got to get stuck in getting upset about it? And why can't we pull from our ancestors, the strength from our ancestors, to do something different and grow? It's some powerful stuff out there, man. It is. It is. It's when you think about it, it's a lot. And when you think about it, it can really be something that will make you turn in on inside of yourself. But without without that, without this space, without this the place that we're in, we won't be anywhere. We there's a lot of us out here with the talent and ability to do whatever whatever we want to do, man. And people don't understand how powerful the actual space is. That's why you get so many people on Kevin Samuels back. That's why you get like you would see the way people talk, especially women, the way women talk about Kevin Samuels, you would think he wouldn't have a platform, but you see a whole bunch of brothers, white, black, whatever, gathering behind Kevin Samuels. And why is that? Because we have a sense to want to band together. We have a sense to want to accomplish great things, but we just don't. When we outside of looking at our heroes, we don't see the potential in ourselves, and that's a shame. And I'm trying to tell people to see the potential. I don't always see the potential in myself. I look at a lot of other creators in the space, man, and I'm like, damn, man, this dude got he's doing this. He's a police officer. He an ex-marine. This dude then went to like 8 tours in Afghanistan over here. This guy over here making beats, and man, he worked with Dr. Dre and he did XYZ. And I'm over here just struggle streaming. And it's like, man, what do what do I have? What do I have to give, and what do I have to do? And you got a lot of people that especially take the time out and have the ingenuity to do these things have a lot of potential. You just have to know what your God-given gift is. Sometimes you just have to sit back and look at yourself and take some real introspection on what you're doing and say, hey, this is me. This is what I'm doing. It's different. It might not be the most popular thing over here on the left side, or it might not be the most popular thing over here on the right side, but I know this is me, and I know this is something that I can reach somebody with, and I know I can make strides, I can make moves, and I can change the world with my gift. And you have to stick with it, and you have to nurture it. That's why in my video about sowing your seed, you gotta be able to sow. You gotta know what you're doing, and you got to be able to sow into yourself to make things happen in the world. You can't just sit here and want to big things to happen. You can't want to take out of the world. That's like the universe is balanced, man. Whether whatever you want to believe in, whatever your religion is, if you even have one, the universe, if you look at the universe as a whole, is balanced. You can't the whole thing is just on this grand mathematical scale. You can't just take from the universe. You can't just take from the world and take without sowing. You got to be able to know how to sow. You got to be able to want to put something out into the world, and you got to be able to see that what you put in the world grow before you can reap. You can't just be out here taking from the world and not give. You got to give your time. You got to give your energy. You got to give your everything that you have, especially in the thing that you're doing in your own life, what you're trying to do to grow, whatever your business is, whether it's business, you got your own business, or you're working for somebody else's business. You can't sit there and take bonuses after bonuses without sowing into your craft, without sowing into your job, to be able to to be able to reap those harvests. If you put in them long hours, if you put in them long nights, them sleepless nights, and if you work, you work till you can't work no more. You mean you getting up, you're the first person in the office, and then you're the last person to leave. You're the person that's sitting up there like, hey, I don't want to work. I'm a salary, so I don't get paid on the weekend, but I'm gonna come in the weekend so I can get some stuff done. And they see, and you're getting that stuff done. And they see, hey, look, I know it might not look like it's gonna help you. It might look like they're taking advantage of you, especially if you're not getting paid for it. But then they look at you and they know that you are a dependable person. And hey, I can depend on him to help my business. Now, even if you're working for a small business, they see the same thing. You want to work yourself, you want to work as much as you can. My mother, always told me, God rest her soul, that you always want to be, you want to be the best at a job that nobody wants to do. That's another thing, man. You gotta know, you gotta want to do, or you got not even necessarily want to do, but you have to do the job sometimes that nobody want to do, and you got to be damn good at them, to the point to where, damn, they'll say that, man, this dude over here doing this job right here, man, nobody want to do that job, but hey, he in here working day in and day out, man. Don't even care, man, and he happy doing it. People will see that, man. People will see like, man, he's working. Even from this content creator thing, you'll see people making like three, four, five, six videos a day, man, and that just show you the kind of work ethic that they have towards it, the kind of drive and determination they have to build that empire that they're building, and flourish at it, man. So I don't know, man. This is just the random stream, man. This was supposed to this was supposed to like stay on the manosphere topics, but man, this we got to for one band together. No matter what your stance is, if you're not directly harming me, if you're not directly um trying to hurt me or hurt my brand, or if I should be able to help you, as long as I'm not as long as it's not at my detriment. We should be banding together. We should be seeing these new guys, or coming up, as well as myself, because I'm a new guy, man. I'm only like 50, 60 videos deep on my YouTube channel. So I'm a small YouTuber compared to people's 3, 4, 500,000 videos. I'm not even at that 100 video mark like Roberto Blake says. I'm still in that crappy video phase. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. I'm all good with being, having these videos like that. And I wasn't always like that. I didn't want to be looked at, and I didn't want people to see that I wasn't quite sharp. Or I wasn't quite refined as some of these other YouTubers were, and that's okay. You're never going to be, when you're looking at yourself, you're never going to be at the place, and you should never want to be. You should never be at the place that you want to be at. You should always feel like there's something more I can add to it. There's something extra that I can put into this, that make this myself and this channel better. You shouldn't be at the point to where, I've learned all I can learn and let that be it. It should never be like that, because when you get to that point to where you feel like you can't learn anything else, you stop listening, you stop growing, you stop excelling, you stop changing, and you kind of get stuck into this position. And sometimes you can get in a rut. You people quit, people get burnt out, they don't want anything to do with the space, they don't want anything to do with what they're doing anymore, and they just give up because they just stop listening. They turned the switch off on listening. You got to be able to listen. You got to be able to be teachable. You got to be able to be coachable. It's just like if you're in the sports, nobody want to deal with a student athlete that's uncoachable, no matter how much talent they have. And you see some people like that too, no matter how much. I mean, just cold with it, just cold with the game, cold with the editing, cold with the voice, cold with the charisma on the mic. And you look at him and like, man, you can't tell this dude nothing. I mean, he can do this, but I don't want to work with this dude because you can't tell him nothing. Are you gonna want to work with this dude because he trying to overtalk you all the time and can't at least see where you coming from? And we don't want to be like that. You don't want to be like that. It's okay to be headstrong. It's okay to be, type A or alpha personality. That's all good. That's all good. But you got to be able to. It's little kids out here teaching grown people something. What does that say? It's little kids out here teaching grown folks stuff. You know what I'm saying? We sit here and complain about how these baby boomers, and these Gen Xers are, is no hope for them, and they won't listen, and they just sitting around doing whatever they doing, and whatever they say is the gospel, and we doing the same. We starting off doing the same thing. We sitting up here getting into a point to where You can't tell anybody anything. I mean, getting on panels and all over YouTube and getting on panels over talking people and trying to be funny all the time, and trying to have the last word all the time and making yourself look foolish out there, man. And for some people, that might be what they want. That might be their point and their steam to let off at the end of the day. But that ain't me. That ain't me. I let that off. I blow my steam off on my pre-recorded videos. Make sure you go stop by Aaron EBM and watch some of them videos. Help me I need at least to get to 1,000 subscribers. I get to 1,000 subscribers. You know what? I'll be happy. I'll be happy for a while. I just said not to get stuck in a situation, but I'm not dead set on, having a million subscribers. But man, I get to 1,000 subscribers, then that's what I need. I need to be able to expand. I need to be able to move the needle on my channel. I need to get into the community, and it's just a way to start, man. So, man, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to get up out of here, y'all. Man, I appreciate y'all sticking by me on the channel. The guys, the people, men and women who decide to come by Aaron EBM. View the videos. Let me know if I'm messing up from time to time. I appreciate you guys out there, man. I wouldn't even be doing this unless some of y'all was watching, man. If I couldn't get nobody to watch, man, I wouldn't even be doing this, man. And people can't forget that you guys are the reason that we do it. Having a voice, being able to, move something, be able to touch somebody's life, being able to, inspire somebody to do something more is why we do it. Growing a business and growing a brand is great, but at the end of the day, that legacy that everybody talks about, that legacy that everybody's wanting to have a piece of, that are afraid that if they don't leave it behind, that nothing of their past life will be there to push on to the future. That's what we're doing this for. This is for legacy. I want this stuff to outlast me when I'm gone from this earth. And I want to be able to make somebody laugh. I want to be able to make somebody change. I want to be able to do a lot of things, man. And I couldn't do it unless all you guys were rocking with me, man. So I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna get back in there. I hope you guys watch this. I hope you guys, for the couple of people that's watching this, I appreciate it. And just let me know, man. Get in the comments and let me know what kind of subjects you guys want to talk about. And I'll make sure I get on here live at least once a week, man. So I appreciate it. Until next time, people. Peace. I'm out.